Welcome back, April from Sacred Roots and
Jessica from A New Moon.
So we split up the readings, as we said if you watched the last video. One of the reasons we're doing that is to keep the readings timeless in a sense. So we did draw this for this new moon energy we're coming into, but if this resonates with you at any point in time, this is applicable whenever you're feeling drawn to it.
Absolutely. Okay, do you want to start with yours?
Okay, so starting from the top of the reading, the first thing that I get from my moon deck, that Jess and I both have a dual moon deck, is to expect powerful change. So coming out of the Mercury retrograde, moving into Sagittarius energy, I think that this is definitely applicable that we're moving into this. Underneath it, I get a new start is coming, yay. We're all ready for that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that prosperity lies ahead. And so these two cards underneath are both upside down. So whatever this changes that we sort of have to transform through is really what's between us and this prosperity and the new start that we're all hoping for. Okay, so moving into the middle realm, so the here and now, the earth plane energy of what is going on, what we might be dealing with. So the first card I get is the Chariot. And I did draw the Chariot in reverse. So the Chariot is typically about movement forward. In this reverse, there may be a warning within this. A warning of maybe we're stagnated in being able to move forward with whatever this energy is. There could be, excuse me, there could be some negative energy within this, with it being like you're overly ambitious. Like, instead of just riding the chariot and letting, whatever's the bulls or whatever is driving you, allow you to take you, you're sort of like whipping them and pushing at them, and that could be overly greedy. So there is like trying to get us to just calm down and allow that chariot to move at will. So there's different people on different spectrums. Some people are like stopping the chariot and not letting it move at all. And then there's other people that are like, whipping, trying to get it to go faster, where we all just need to like release and like just, or let the chariot ride, hang on if it could be difficult. So hang on, but don't push it, but don't slow it down. And the clarifiers I get with this is the happiness card is upright, and I'm getting that like, for those of us that are like, oh, I don't want to be on this ride, this sucks, or oh, can't I get off this? It's like be grateful for this ride, because it's part of what is taking you to where we want to go. And then reverse, I have courage, so maybe we need a little bit of courage to make the rest of this journey that we're on, to stay on it, to stay on this that will arrive us at where we want to go. And then hiding underneath the chariot was the Two of Wands, also in reverse. So the Two of Wands is typically in the upright about looking outward and making plans for the future, like arriving at, the world has a bigger meaning for me. So in the reverse, it's really about like, it's very Aries energy, like just like, I got this idea and I'm running out at it, and it's like, maybe you need to come back, come back to this point where she's sort of looking out and thinking of where she might go before she's just running out there toward it. So it's kind of like drawing you back in the reverse position, drawing you back to the drawing board to really connect with what is it that I really want before I run out there and try to get it. And the clarifier I get on its side is the release card. So whatever you're running after right now, maybe we're moving into it too fast, and we need to just release for a second, come back to the self, really think through what it is we want before charging forward. I just really get a very charging energy, and we need to just draw back into ourselves to try to, focus, make sure this is exactly what we want. It's like I'm reading for myself. I really want to charge forward all the time.
Well, think about the theme of what we've been working through, even talking about before this with our business and all this stuff. It's like we want to go and do all these things, but it has to happen in layers.
Yeah, so I hope someone else is resonating with this, because I just feel like I'm reading for myself. I do want to charge forward. Mm-hmm. I don't want to wait and have patience, but if we don't...
Capricorn, give me the to-do list. I'm ready to tackle it.
Put me in, coach.
Yep.
And then the last card I get in the middle realm out of the tarot is the Eight of Cups. and this one is on its side, meaning that we may be in process of this transition, which if you can see the card, she's sort of walking away from these 8 cups. And she doesn't look very happy about it. So it's like something that you've been putting into emotionally that's really not giving back to you. You're kind of disappointed with it. And you're kind of upset. You're like, oh, I put so much into that. What?
I don't know why I just felt so lame. Okay, was it in reverse?
It was on its side.
It was on its side. Okay, what came to me when you said that is don't walk away. You might be tempted to walk away.
Oh, okay. So yes, there are, obviously we're reading for the collective, so there's multiple messages there. But yes, for some people it might be, this wanting to walk away and maybe just hold on a little longer. And for other people it could be you really got to go back to your gut instinct. Is this giving you fulfillment? Is this connecting to your long-term purpose? So there's a choice there, and some of you will walk away and you need to walk away, and others need to hold on to what hope might be left there. And the clarifier I get is openness. So being open to, whether this is...
To receive a phone call.
So, the openness of being open to walking away or being open to staying. Now, for individuals, we need more clarifiers to figure out which end of the spectrum you're on. But it is on its side. So it's not necessarily... going forward or going back. It's sort of like we're considering that, we're looking at that. Okay, the last 2 cards I have for the middle realm, the here and now earth plane, is I have the medicine card, so the recommendation and medicine cards. And I get the snake, which is all about the transformation. All right, so the snake sheds its skin when it's ready to grow. So we have to be willing to let go of that old skin. Hanging on to dead skin is, pretty gross. We should just let that go, right? So we're still in quite a bit of scorpionic energy right now, which is about, going within, going into the dark, cleansing things out and letting go of things that no longer serve us. So in this deck, you can see the snake also has some eggs. So there's this idea that if we are able to shed and let go, there is some abundance for us, or some seeds new moon seeds to plant. And I love this one. This is like always the remedy I need. Is impatience. For patience.
I like patience.
So this is to help us with impatience, irritability, and frustration, which it seems, with all this stagnation and this hanging on in this middle realm, we may really need some patience in our lives. So it's going to help us be more tolerant and have patience with ease. The seed pods explode when disturbed, scattering them up to 7 meters. Impatience refers to this method of dispersal. Patience is the compassionate companion of wisdom. So that's kind of just saying, like, having the patience to allow that wisdom to come in. So this is in the form of an actual flower remedy, which can be purchased at health food stores. Which, if you do suffer from impatience, Aries energy, you need this. That can be really helpful. Or if you're just, an impatient person in general, it can be very helpful to have that remedy.
Well, as we're going through these transits that are coming up, we have our natal charts that affect us personally, but then also, even for the most patient person, I feel like with the transits that we're going to be going through astrologically over the next month or two, everybody's going to need a little help with that.
Well, yeah, I would say generally speaking, you're a far more patient person than me, but some of these transits, you even need the remedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 planets in Taurus. I'm typically a very patient person, but right now I'm like, and I'm done. I don't know. Am I all set?
Mm-hmm. That's the middle one.
So I'm going to start with the masculine. So I'm going to read for the masculine energy. And what we start off as a theme right now for the masculine, and like I said, we all have, you can either read this for if you are a feminine energy and you're reading this for relationship and this is your masculine, or you are the masculine and you're reading for feminine, or this also comes into the mirror of life where we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. The masculine is going to be challenged for trust. It's like this situation, so whatever insights, whatever carrot is like being dangled out in front of you, whatever is inspiring you right now, you're needing to have faith in it. It's like you might not be able to see the big picture completely just yet, but intuitively you're being drawn in this direction and you feel like it's going to be positive, or negative. Maybe some kind of you got some negative stuff that's coming up, and it's like you're questioning it, and it's like trust your intuition and follow that intuition, because with that I get the horse, which is freedom. So whatever is intuitively coming in within you, it's going to help break you free of some areas that you've been stagnated. And the horse is also a very intuitive animal. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls for you. You have unlimited reserves within your stamina and strength. Follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. So that goes really well with, kind of trusting your intuition and following where you need to go. So that's the theme for what the masculine is going through. And then what I have over here is it looks like the masculine has come into a space where he's completing some kind of emotional cycle. And maybe the new cycle that's coming in is what he's being inspired to trust. But it's like, also what this means is like maybe recently he's come into some kind of emotional abundance, I guess is what the Nine of Cups is all about, being, fulfillment, kind of like that. I am Thanksgiving, I'm having a feast of drink, I'm having a feast of food. And so it's this, but it's the ending of a cycle. And what I get as a clarifier for that card specifically is unexpected visitors. So maybe there's some what you've been coming from in the past is maybe there was some kind of unexpected abundance that you weren't really anticipating on receiving, and it kind of comes in out of nowhere, and that you kind of have to trust, and it's like, so I got this emotional abundance, and what am I going to do with it? Left, right? Where are you intuitively being drawn to reinvest that emotion that you have because you completed this emotional cycle from the past? And even if you're in, like, let's say that we're reading this for relationship and you're already in a relationship, that doesn't mean that you're going on a new relationship with a totally different person. It could be that you and your partner are reinvesting in each other and taking your relationship to the next level. And so then I get, so where we're at, where the masculine is, that's where he's been. There's been some kind of unexpected emotional abundance while closing out an old emotional cycle, and that's been happening recently. But what we're moving into is forward movement or stagnation. It depends on who you are and where you're at. So, think about your life. Have you been feeling stagnated and not moving forward? Or this could also mean that there is, like, right now is the time to start moving forward. And I get kind of that there has been stagnation because you've been in this Mars and Libra energy where you are still yet closing out that old emotional cycle and needing to make a choice. So this week I would really, going in from this reading, I would, know that there's going to be some choices that come up going forward that are going to either propel you forward. And where you're going, so that's kind of the choices are going to kind of come up this week that are going to propel you forward. And what is coming in the future, what you're moving into, is this ability to be flexible. The Fool is like, again, so we got the 9 at the top, that's a completion. To know that you're walking into something completely new. So allow yourself to be flexible. Allow yourself to be a novice. Allow yourself, and again, this is a Sagittarian energy where it's like, I have this little bundle here and we're going to go in pilgrimage. Like, we're going on this journey. But we just started this journey with whatever choice that you're going to make this week. And I get the compass with it. So it's like, whatever this choice is that you make now, there's fate. It's like that movie, The Sliding Glass Doors, where it doesn't matter if you make this choice or that choice, you might still end up at the same place. But it's like whatever choice you make is really gonna set the tone and direct your sails, and to know that, you know, you are on a new journey. And what I get at for the masculine energy specifically, what the advice is for you is don't let your past hold you back. So this completion that's up here, the need to trust, you know, having something come in unexpectedly, maybe it's this choice that comes in unexpectedly that's going to push you forward into a new direction that you're not necessarily familiar with, so you're having to trust.
Well, with that one specifically, there can be some mournful energy. You know, that choice may seem like something that is like sad, or you're losing something. You just don't see on the other side there's something better.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, don't let your past hold you back. So again, like thinking about, you know, we're leaving this job behind to go and take this new job. It's like, maybe you don't automatically manifest that this next job is going to be the same as the previous job if you were unhappy with that. Allow yourself to go into it as a clean slate. And then I get the moon card with that. And that is important psychic insights. So again, trust, intuition, are coming in. Events have been happening behind the scenes that are conditioning this path for you to walk forward on. So know that you're always going to have what you need when you take off onto this new journey, and release fears that hold you back. So don't let your past hold you back. And then this one says release your fears, which we talked about sacral chakra earlier. And that is all
The
covering
blockages, yeah.
the blockages and fear. Okay. So that is my reading for the Divine Masculine.
Okay, so on my side, we're going to move now down into the subconscious or lower realm. I did draw more cards in this realm than any of the others, so there's a lot of subconscious things that we need to release right now. So starting, the first one that I get is the Three of Cups, and this is actually about joy. So you can see these herons are all joining up with each one of their cups. So they kind of come together for some sort of celebration. And the reason that I'm getting that this is in the subconscious is because I think there are some fears of lack. So I get the clarifier, let go of the old. So, you know, if you had, you know, this friendship that fell away, or this relationship that's not working out, or even
Because of this.
even like, you know, let's say you don't have the relationship with your sister that you really want. You want that like deep, you know, feminine connection. It's like, let that go, because there are other relationships that can nourish you from the same like the same aspect of energy, like a feminine energy, depending on what you're looking at. Yeah, so it could be like, I don't have, you know, a deep connection with a sister, but I have a deep connection with a friend who is also a female. So it's just like allowing some of those ideals of what brings you joy to release, so that true joy can come in. You can stop being like, well, I need this to have joy in my life, and you're focused on something, so it's sort of releasing that. And then the second clarifier I got was, we are all connected. So this goes along right with what you were saying, that, you know, you can see that there's sort of like a, you know, this looks like a helix going on, like a double helix. And so, you know, depending on what choice you choose, you might go in a different direction, but essentially you end up here at the top at this tree of life.
Yep.
So, you know, it doesn't matter what choice you choose, you're going to end up there at the tree of life. So maybe you don't have that. I don't get that relationship with a sister, but I get the relationship with a friend. So I arrive at the same space of abundance, of joy, in being nurtured in my femininity with you know, a female friend. So it can obviously go with guys too. It could be a brother, you know, not having that brother, but meeting other men that nourish those masculine parts, you know, that you felt like you were robbed of that relationship, but because you're attached to the ideal of it, you're blocking what is available to come in.
Because the universe promises that there are no empty spaces.
Yeah, so allow that vessel of joy to come into your life, but don't get attached to what it looks like. Allow it to come in naturally. So underneath that, I have the Queen of Pentacles. She is in reverse. So again, in that reverse position, it could be something that we are resisting. What I'm getting in the reverse position, and this is a bear, which the bears are very good about going into hibernation and honoring that, gentle feminine energy, the winter time, coming inside, reading a book, nourishing the soul. So we could be resisting that. We could be overburdened. There could be a lack of work-life balance. There could be a lack of self-care. There could be suspicions of financial insecurity. With this in reverse, this is really telling me that we really need to come inward and focus on our self-care, make sure we have that work-life balance, and we're nourishing our soul. And the clarifier I get is let the emotions flow. So that definitely tells me that we are resisting some natural emotional fulfillment within self-care that we really need. That's essential to bring this joy into our life. Okay, and then now going into, I have 2 more tarot cards drawn for this. The first one I get is the 7 of Cups, which in the traditional deck this shows too many options. In this deck, as you see, it's a little more dark in our subconscious. It is about mourning. So you can see there, the skull representing something that's fallen away or death, with these empty cups here. So there's something that we've lost that we are mourning in this. And the clarifier I get with this particular card is not to fear the unknown. So whatever has happened in the past this again goes along with what you're saying, whatever's happened in the past that left us feeling empty or mournful, letting that go and not pushing that into our future. I always like this analogy. You can't drive a car by looking in the rear view mirror. So that applies to our life. You can't drive your life forward by looking into the past. You have to be looking, being in the present and looking toward the future.
Because that could be creating the stagnation that's happening in your real life.
Yeah.
Because you have to be paused to look in the rear view mirror.
Right. Okay, so underneath what might be this morning is these cards are all connected. These next 2 I'm going to read with this. So underneath our morning card is the Hermit, or the hooded man in this deck. And you can see he's got this, his face is hidden and he's got this light.
What, can I elaborate on that for
Yeah.
a second? This card came up in a reading that I got a couple years ago, actually, and the way that he explained this card specifically is to check the checking of nobility. It's like it's like Jesus showing up and you not knowing it's Jesus. It's like he's hidden, but it's like he's putting that lantern up to you to see if you are a bearer of light, or what your nobility is kind of what he gave me from that.
So that's a very good, I like that a lot, because his face is hidden, so this person, I don't know, you might be looks kind of suspicious.
Oh, it is
right?
suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it might look suspicious, but really this is a person of nobility, a person of light. I mean, he is literally carrying the light. But so this card also is telling us about going into our own selves, our own inner journey, and taking that light and shining it inward to really illuminate the parts of ourselves. So this is about, withdrawing into the self and reconnecting to our own self. So, if we got this morning card, we really have to go into ourself to
allow
release.
yourself to feel.
Yes, and allow yourself to feel, to release this morning. And the clarifier I get with it is to heed your own dreams. So other than, releasing that morning energy, to know what you want, to know what your dream is, you really have to go back into yourself, and you have to take off the layer of what society thinks you should be, and take off the layer of what my parents said I should be, the layer of what my friends said I should be, what my husband, what my wife, and take all those layers off and get to your core self.
And be okay.
And then be like, what do I want? And that will really illuminate what, your dreams are, what spirit really wants you to do in this life. And the third card underneath this morning card is the Page of Pentacles, upside down. So there is the upright with the lynx, which the lynx is kind of like it's a feline and it's stealthy, but it's a little bit on the like the sneaky energy. So the Page of Pentacles upside down here, and this is going to be about like unrealistic goal in the reverse position. Unrealistic goals, dissatisfaction within your career. It could be in a relationship, but I'm getting a lot of like career or life choices, or people are in a position that they're just not feeling that fulfillment. Okay, so Jess is saying that this does also refer to what she was saying within the masculine, which if we think about our traditional roles as, you know, men in society, they really do have the burden of career. Now, of course, that's shifting as it should. But that burden of career sometimes puts us in a position of feeling like, you know, we have to do this for our family. This is the right thing to do, or this is the more prestigious job, or this one pays more. And this is just really telling me there's some dissatisfaction there. So there could be some, like, needing to think through the process and going back to the drawing board again. We talked about that earlier.
And the 0, the 4.
Yes. Oh, and that goes along with this because the two clarifiers I get is to nourish the soul and make a sacrifice. So that sacrifice could be returning to, you know, Jess's card here where you're literally going back to being a beginner, being brand new at things, letting go of all the stuff and starting brand new, which could feel vulnerable, you know, having to go all the way back to one. It's like in Monopoly, lose all your money, you know, whatever the saying is.
But that person that might lose all their money might end up winning the game of Monopoly at the end.
In the end, right. So there is making this sacrifice in this picture. It's like a dragon with a skull. So this is a little bit darker deck. But so I'm really getting that is a lot to do with career, could have to do with relationships for others. And then the nourish the soul is, you know, when we go back in and we're thinking about what we really want to connect with, you know, maybe we want to choose a career that is more nourishing to our soul, that gives us more time with our family. You know, maybe the commute is less, it pays $1 less, but the commute is less, so it, you know, it evens out in the end. And it allows you to nourish your soul because then you have, you know, more time with your family or for yourself or whatever that is.
Well, think about, you know, we're talking about career and what I've elaborated on before about having to completely close my business down to almost, I mean, it's not completely closed down, but I'm running on 1 class a week and not like I was before, and thinking about next spring, and like I keep, you know, thinking about wanting to reopen a physical location again, and it's like, ugh. Like to think about going back to making another business plan again,
Yeah.
thinking about, you know, doing like recreating all of that again. Like this weekend, I was just kind of sitting there like, but I already did this.
Okay, so the advice and the medicine for this. So the advice is the squirrel, and I got that one in reverse. So in reverse, the squirrel can be a bit of a hoarder. It can be fearful, who expects the worst and is stuck in waiting. Waiting for something to happen is a trap.
Yep.
So no action equals stagnation. The other thing is there could be some erratic energy with the squirrel. If you've ever seen a squirrel, they kind of just carry this like very erratic energy.
I'm gonna cross the road. No, I'm not. I'm gonna cross the road. No.
Yeah, it could be that decision making that I need to do something, I need to store, and that comes off as a very erratic energy. If the squirrel's hanging upside down, you may be working through opposites, hoarding thoughts of abundance, so that fear and scarcity. So you're actually promoting fear and scarcity when you're so worried, you know.
Well, it also stands for, you had shifted me another interpretation of it, which is the manifesting. That the squirrel is the sign of a manifester.
Well, that would, yes, in the upright, squirrel knows how to gather things and store them. So that would be that would be what Spirit wants us to do. It wants us to, you know, but I just get it's very grounded, you know, it's very thoughtful in gathering things for manifesting. Whereas the reverse is like the way we're interacting with it is I need, I won't survive.
Oh, okay.
So yes, that is the light side of squirrel can be to gather things for abundance, but that is a more grounded energy and not doing it out of fear.
Oh, okay.
So that's really the intention at the end of the day. Okay, and then so the medicine is the sweet chestnut, and this is to help with despair, anguish of heart, when you feel you've reached the end of the road. So it's to help bring comfort, light, and support. For there is good news yet to hear, and fine things to be seen. Any mind that is capable of real sorrow is capable of real good.
Okay. Now, so I read for the masculine energy already, and now I'm going to shift into reading for the feminine. So what the feminine got as the overall theme is owl magic, Okay. And it gets choose to know the truth because you can. So sometimes it's like we don't want to see the truth, so we look over here. Like things might be blindly showing itself to us, but it's like, no. It's like, yeah, it's like mom energy. Like dad says no, and mom's like, oh, we're gonna come over here and do this anyways. So it says choose to know the truth because you can. Open your inner vision. You can see through deception. Let the past go. Make a lot about letting past go. Let the past go and make room for a better life. Rise up. Magic and wisdom are your birthright. And then I get with that true love. So it's like your inner feminine or your feminine energy that is coupled with you, or you as a feminine, are really looking for the job. You are looking for the partner. You're wanting your current partner to step up.
Step up like yesterday. Make
Yeah.
the phone call.
Make the phone call. So it's like, but the thing is that you might be, the Neptune in retrograde could have you disillusioned about something that's coming in, that you might not ever be able to have that true love. You might not be able to create that abundance. You might not be worthy of having that divine job that you want. So it's like the inner feminine is really looking for that ideal energy within love and fulfillment. And it's like, it's saying, there's something coming in this week that is showing you that this is a romance of a lifetime. So it's like, know your truth. If you're not happy with your situation, you've got to be able to create the change, to see through the disillusionment. So maybe you're in a relationship where it's like you keep saying, well, this could be better. Well, this could be better. Maybe it'll be better. But it's like you've gone to counseling, you've, had countless conversations and nothing is changing. So it's like asking you to kind of maybe see through that disillusionment. Maybe you need to let that previous situation go and move forward in a new direction, because true love is waiting for you. And the reason why I kind of see that happen, is then I also get the 5 of Cups. And if you see and notice, this is like where she's packed this picnic, she set up this entire romantic situation, but it's like somebody never showed up. So she's just like in that moment of like, well, I'm going to just throw all this away, dump the cups and move on. In the other tarot cards, it's 3 cups being spilt while you still have 2 cups. So it's like, again, where we've been in the past, maybe we haven't been looking at what we do have and only looking at what we don't have. Or maybe we're sticking with what isn't fulfilling us and not allowing something else to come in. Do you see how that could go both ways? And what I get as a clarifier for that is like, maybe not dump the cups, go the distance. Maybe wait the extra 5 minutes. Maybe they got stopped in traffic and they're still coming. There's still something coming. And so it's like, yeah, go the distance. Like, that's dumb. Because what I get with that, like, second is the King of Swords, and it's like there's action coming. So you might be in this space of feeling hopeless and not knowing what's coming, but it's like the King of Swords is all about, what does it mean technically? Do you have the cheat sheet?
The King of Swords. It's about, well, that sword always tells me stabbing truth.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very noble within that truth.
But what this card tells me specifically is
authority.
Okay, so maybe that's something's coming into authority this week, or there's some kind of action that's going to happen this week that's going to bring in that authority. But what the picture is telling me is there's some kind of information going to reveal itself this week that's maybe going to give you the authority for your next move.
That makes sense to me. Yes.
So
you're going to feel into that authority. You're going to feel, authoritative within that move.
And that's the clarifier, which what she just said is exactly what this card means.
Feel
is the
within
feeling.
the self. Yes.
it's this feminine, maybe this feminine energy, the yin energy is very intuitive. So it's like maybe you're going to get some kind of message that is going to give you the feeling of being in authority or being within your authority.
Like, it's just, like, I just kind of, it's like giving you the confidence in yourself. That, like, oh, I can do this job.
I can wait 5 minutes.
I can, be here by myself waiting for however long it is.
Yes.
I can wait for that ideal lover and be alone, until that ideal person comes and I don't have to settle. Because I am worth waiting for.
Because I know it's coming.
Yes.
And then I get, because, and how this all works together, is I get the Knight of Pentacles. So it's like she got what she wanted. Like she has this prize. Now it might not be, because it's the Knight, it's not the King yet. Jiminy Crickets. It's not exactly, the total thing. We're still having some Mercury retrograde stuff. It's not, everything, but it's like she's getting the beginning of it, of the next stage. And what I get with that is loyal hearts. So I feel like whatever messages are going to come in, whatever feelings that are going to come in this week are leading you to know where your loyalties are. You're going to get some kind of news coming in that the abundance might not come in for like maybe next week or the week after.
But that's the fun part, the building of it, coming from a cardinal energy.
Well, think about Christmas.
Yeah, the building, it's the anticipation, like, oh, we're starting to build this relationship together when you're getting to know each other and all that fun part,
The honeymoon phase.
honeymoon phase.
Yeah, so that's what I feel like is like there's the divine feminine right now is really looking for that. I mean, she's feeling like I'm so sick of waiting for this true love to come in. It's like I'm ready to abandon it, because that's where I got with the 8 of Cups. Maybe that's why I was intuiting on that, is with this card, is it's like I'm getting ready to walk away. But it's like, okay, nope. Oh, I got go by the book. It's not go with the distance. Go by the book. It's actually go by the book. So it's like, go ahead, put the time in.
Be noble.
Be noble and take the steps that are necessary. And then at the end, I got the answers you need are coming. There's a duality happening, a balancing out with the Gemini energy. And then I have, focus, 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 communicate. So communicate, feminine, like allow yourself to be vulnerable, to put out that verbalization. Be the leader. So maybe within the masculine, he's over here, not knowing what choice to make, but maybe something that you say to him is going to help to shift him a little bit. And this says advice from someone creative. So there might be somebody in the outside of your circle that's going to kind of work with you on that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're going to move up into the messages from Spirit or from the heaven or sky plane. And I'll start with this 7 of Cups, and we got it in reverse. Now in the other deck, we did get this in the subconscious, and that in that particular deck, it was the Mourning card. So you can see very different interpretations depending on the deck and the realms we're in. Okay, but so in this one, it was reversed, so it does have a little bit more to do with that lower subconscious realm deck. And so that 7 of Cups is all about all these choices, and then it's upright, and we did get this also from Spirit last week. We got it in the upright position. And we talked about this meaning, all this abundance that's available to us, but there's so many options. So in the reverse position, there can be, it's overwhelming because there are so many options. We don't know what decision to make. And so we're needing to take a step back and look at what is really important to us, because by doing that, you may, decide like, oh, well, that cup doesn't work for me because I don't like, which one am I even pointing at? Oh, so I don't like diamonds because it's associated with, war. Okay, so you easily eliminate that one if you just step back and start to ask yourself what really matters. Okay, I don't like that one because I don't like wearing masks. That's not me. So now we've already got ourselves down to 5 cups. So this, even though it's overwhelming, take a step back and really focus on what it is that you do want. And then hiding underneath that, also upside down, and we did also get this in the middle realm, is the Two of Wands. So here's the two different decks, Two of Wands. In the sky realm, they're seeing us as stagnating in this energy. Oh, I did get this one in reverse. They're both in reverse in both realms. So from the sky realm, and this is Basil. Basil is a lot about allowing us to release emotionally. But in the spirit realm or the sky realm, in the reverse, again, this is about needing to come back into the self and refocus on what you do want. You can see they've got the world in their hands there, and then they've got these staffs. So, in the upright, it's about, making a decision, stepping out into this, new wide world, reconnecting with what, the world has to offer you, that's more meaningful, that's more connected to spirit. And its reverse position, it's about saying coming back to the drawing board and again focusing on what it is you really truly want at a deep, deep level. So, not what everybody else wants, but what you truly want in yourself. Because you could do what society wants, you could do what your wife wants, you could do what your dad wants. Is that really going to bring you joy and fulfillment? Sometimes we do those things, and at the end of the day, we still feel empty.
Well, maybe thinking about it in the idea of a relationship, like, if you're ending a relationship, maybe you're staying together for the kids, or maybe you're staying together because you don't want to let everybody know that you're breaking up, or, these kinds of things. Or staying in a job, you're in one job that's like makes sense because there's a 401k and there's this and there's that, but you're miserable, and, maybe this other job would give you freedom, but everybody is going to think like you're crazy for doing it.
Okay, and the clarifiers I get for this is definitely validating everything we're saying. So this has to do with detachment. And underneath that, we get a card of stuck upside down and our heart space upside down. So there's something within, we may be detaching a little bit from truly what we want to fulfill the needs of our family, our lovers, society, whatever it is. But what that's really causing is, this stuck energy in our heart space. So, we may be able to, on the surface, make society happy, make our partner happy, make our parents happy with staying at that job, but because of what it's doing to our heart, that stuck energy in the heart, it's in the end not, it's gonna affect them negatively as well, and in the end, they're not gonna be really happy when your heart is bitter, your heart is, revengeful toward them because of the expectations they've held on you. So really needing to go back into your own heart space, release it. Release your heart space from what you truly want, even if it means short-term disappointing others. Because long-term, that will lead, they will eventually see the bigger picture, even if you're making less money in a less prestigious position, if you're truly abundant in your spirit and happy, they're going to see that money you don't need money to be happy, right? You're going to teach them a valuable lesson within that. Okay, and then the other card I get, and this one is face down, hiding from us, and I think one of the reasons they're sort of putting this one down is because we have to work through this hard energy here of, making these decisions, and this is all about decisions.
Choice.
Yeah, all about choices here. And it's really about this choice to, honor our own heart and our own true, destiny, our own dreams.
What's inspiring us.
So that's all you've got to work through all that stuff, because what is hiding from you is the Two of Cups.
Woo, woo, this one.
Yes, so definitely like that one. And okay, so you can see in this depiction, they're like a happy couple. They just look like they're on a honeymoon phase right there.
Emotional balance.
Yes, emotional balance. So they both come to the table with a cup full. Mm-hmm. So, they both have the ability, they both have a foundation to have their own formed cup that is full. There's no holes in it, so that it can receive, the emotional abundance. Mm-hmm. And so they come together sharing these cups. So you see they're crossing arms and offering these whole cups of abundance to each other. So there's balance, but there's also, a lot of abundance there. And then the clarifiers I get with this This was upside down. The throat chakra was upside down. And so communication might be, so the reason that this might have been hiding face down from us is because this throat chakra stagnation, or this inability to communicate right now, that will be released. We will be working on this. Especially coming up with the Gemini full moon medicine that we'll be sharing. So needing to communicate to bring in that emotional abundance, because what's underneath this, drum roll, is healing and psychic knowing.
So you know already what you need to communicate. You just need to do it.
Well, yeah, I think that when that communication starts flowing, that naturally the healing will start taking place, and the intuition will start just dropping in. So really, we just need to open our mouths to draw in this. I just love that we get the Two of Cups up here. It's a beautiful
Makes
outcome
me
card. Yeah, look at her. She's so happy.
Love that card.
And then the last thing I have, no, I have 3 more cards. Excuse me. I always have the extra one here. So the advice. So I asked specifically, how do we draw in these energies? How do we resolve the issues with, all the choices and all this? And this is really because I talked so much about needing to honor your own heart space, no matter what people say, and being okay with that short-term chaos or that short-term dissatisfaction.
You know what it reminds me of is when you're in high school, okay, and it's like all the drama and all the, like, something happens, you get, like, I don't know, something happens to you at school, and everybody around the school is talking about it, and it's like, you feel in that moment like your entire world is rocked and destroyed, but it's like they forgot about it and moved on to the next thing next week. So it's like you just have to go through it for a minute, and then it'll...
Yeah. So the advice is the Moose, which is all about self-esteem. So having that self-esteem to honor your own heart, to go against the grain if, that's what your heart is heading toward, and being okay with that. Having that self-esteem to honor your own heart, number 1. So again, coming from a place of, if you can't come to the table with a full cup, if you don't know how to fill your own cup first, then you have nothing to exchange. Then you're not an ideal partner or an ideal, you can't be in collaboration with others until you have the foundation, you have the solid cup that can hold the
Instead
emotion.
of a colander.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a crack in your cup and someone pours, some, emotional abundance, it just runs right through. So you really have to have the self-esteem to have your own cup filled first to share something. And then the medicine I get is chestnut bud. So we did get sweet chestnut in the lower realm, and we are getting chestnut bud in the upper realm. And then this is to help being unobservant, failure to learn from experience, and repeating the same mistake. So considering this is the second week this card came up, they're really like, stop repeating the same mistakes.
Actually, that speaks to me.
So it's to help you be observant. So when I think of observant, I think of the totem of hawk, because that ability to come above and observe from a place of seeing the whole picture, the bird's eye view. Okay, the more sand that has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the cleaner we should see through it. Oh, I like that.
Say that again.
Okay. The more sand that has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the cleaner we should see through it.
Okay, so before you even said that, what I kept seeing is if you've been doing the same cycle over and over again and nothing has changed, nothing has evolved, nothing's gotten better, it's like so look at your own life and look at to where it's like I keep doing this over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And I feel like what this card is telling you is like, stop repeating that cycle. It's like the hourglass is tilted over. That time has given you clarity of what the end result is going to be.
Well, and if you think of an hourglass, I think most people think like, oh no, like there's this feeling of time is running out. But in that interpretation, it's like, no, now you can just see better. Mm-hmm. It's kind of reversing the whole stigma we have toward it. Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready? Last card. Okay, here's my last card. This is the advice from Spirit from the top down. And this is great that we're getting the arrow because we just came into Sagittarius Sun and we're about to be in Sagittarian Moon. And the arrow, the archer, represents the whole sign of Sagittarius. So this is a really fun card to get. So I will read from this card because these cards are very in depth. Okay. Receiving this symbol reminds us that when you are in alignment with your heart and your soul, you are on target and will soon be hitting your mark. Be true to your calling, release attachments, and free yourself from the bondage of unbridled ambition. Now is revealed to a moment of contact in which your intention meets the material world. The arrow also symbolizes the need to set your creativity free. I love it. Mm-hmm. When the arrow zings through the air, it is inviting you to pay attention and signifying that you are about to make your mark in some aspect of your life. It illuminates the moment of contact when you know that your desires and intentions have traveled on the wind and landed in the perfect place for the highest good. Trust that your job is to be relaxed yet focused, keeping an eye on the prize yet releasing your intention of full expectation that it will land as it is supposed to. Don't worry about the how or the exact form. This is not a time to interfere with the manner in which the arrow flies. It will make its mark, and you will have a cause to celebrate. This is the time to admit that by continuing on the path you are on, you might be shooting yourself in the foot.
Shoot your shot.
Could it be that you have become so attached to winning this game that you have missed the true mark? What if your arrow was never meant to land where you wanted it to? Ooh, that's good. Ooh. Now is the time to regroup and ask yourself if what you desire is really worth your energy. This is a sign that something better is waiting. Consider the wisdom in not getting what you want. Suffering in this case is a pathway to heal the parts that you feel unworthy, the parts that worry there isn't enough. Make peace with those voices. What is truly yours will be waiting for you.
I like that. Okay, so, the sun is like shining right in my face. So I'm going to give my final advice card, and this is, so we have from the masculine energy to trust, the overall theme for it is that, to trust and to allow not to let your past hold you back and to trust your intuition. The divine feminine is focused on, that ultimate true love, unconditional love, and she is needing to kind of endure a little bit longer, be patient, focus, and communicate her vision of what it is that she wants. And so now what Spirit's advice is for the divine feminine and the divine masculine, so that they can come in union or come into balance within each other, is the overall theme. What Spirit is trying to say is wherever love is, that's the direction you're to head. That is, do everything through love. Like, go to work because I love the job. I love the type of work I do. Taking care of your children, it stems from love. Staying with your spouse is because you love them, even though they, snore. Or, if the love is gone, shifting into a different direction where where you can find new love. So letting love be your beacon is what kind of comes to me. And then what Spirit comes as what we've been going through in the past is the Hierophant card. And what the interpretation of this is it can be interpreted as dogmatic. It can also be the mentor energy, kind of that linking of like, I've learned. And that's kind of how, with what, what's culminated through both of our readings, the way that I would take this card is what have you learned? What can you share? With it being in the past is really, that's what I get is, what have you learned that you have the ability to share with others? And then I get the King of Swords, and I got that twice. Mm-hmm. So now I have the King of Swords again, and it's like this ushering in energy, forward movement. So Spirit is saying, with the arrow, shoot your shot, not allowing fear to hold you back. And this is this week. Like Spirit is saying, kind of go forward with something. The king is very secure in himself. So knowing that whatever the communication is that needs to happen, go forward with that communication. Maybe even if it's going in and applying for a job that you might not, you might be nervous that they might tell you no, or going in and talking to your spouse and telling them something that, you've been wanting to tell them and not knowing what they're going to say, or going and talking to that loose, you're single and there's this other person, and it's like, just go in and do it. Okay. Come in and be confident about it. Like, even if they turn you down, then even if you don't get the job, then that that's not the job for you. Like, there's this,
And then you know.
And then I get the 7 of Pentacles afterwards. And what is that? What's that coming
one
to?
is one where
Oh, choices. I mean, 7 is choice.
growth. It's where he has the pile.
Oh, okay. So it's growth or decline, something. So, okay. So what I see with this is once you kind of start to move forward, then there's this growth that's going to happen from it. Like, either there's going to be this new relationship that buds, or you get the job, or if you don't get that, then you go to the other direction. But I feel like this, where if you follow the intuition, this is telling you that there's going to be growth if you just move forward.
Well, yeah, because it shows in the original, it shows like he's like diligently working and he's building this pile of abundance. So there's room for growth. Just keep working.
Just keep working. And what I get as an advice card for that is to be spontaneous. So doing something spontaneous, out of the blue, out of your normal, like maybe something intuitively comes to you and you just, do this King of Swords where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Like, you build yourself up and it's like, okay, I'm going to make the phone call, or I'm going to just go do it. So, try and do something that is something that might kind of push you out of your comfort zone. Because I feel like I got to layer onto hers. We got the Snake card twice. So it's like whatever this spontaneous thing that you're going to do as you go forward is going to create this transformation within you. You're going to shed one old skin and start off on this new path. So that, and that's 5, I got the number on that is 55, and I want to 5 amplified by another 5 is like massive change. The number 5 in numerology is change.
After stability has been established with the 4.
Yes. So maybe this spontaneous movement forward is going to help stabilize something, to allow for the growth, to allow for the change to happen. So that's all that I have is, so divine feminine is, or divine masculine, I would focus on maybe wherever your intuition is guiding you, to kind of allow it to move you forward, to make a choice, to do something. Spirit is saying, do something, make the choice. And for the divine feminine, it's like, be patient, be willing, know that things have a way of happening. 1, 2, 3, like there's different steps that you have to take. And so you might have to wait at level 2 for just a second longer before giving up and walking away, because at the end of the day, we have the 2 of Cups waiting for us from her reading.
Yep.
We have direction that we're going to be going, that's going to bring us together with these loyal hearts.
Arrows goes with that one.
And the arrow. So I just keep hearing, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
Kind of what I see within that is like, the archer is sitting there, oh, I don't know if that's I don't know. And it's like, release it, because your arrow is going to be guided by spirit. So like, it doesn't matter if you're aiming at the wrong thing. Like, he's gonna correct that so that it's gonna land on the right thing for you. And irregardless, like we talked about with everything being interconnected, even if it lands on this, you might end up, both those spaces end up at the same space in the end.
I agree. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Do you have anything else you want to summarize?
So I just want to remind you that the flower essences that I talk about here, the sweet chestnut, chestnut bud, and patience, you can pick them up at health food stores. They're very helpful. They're based on the vibrations of the plants and how they're going to help you. And then the other thing real quick I just wanted to talk about is our newest kit that we have available is going to be the Pablo Santo, the manifesting candle or the prayer candle, and the Amazonite crystal. All these are available on our websites now, sacredrootsgrow.com and newmoonllc.com. And then the other thing for the creativity, if you're trying to aim your arrow, or we're in Sagittarian energy, is also again the carnelian stone can be very helpful, and orange essential oil.
All right, well, we'll look forward to talking to you next week. We hope you utilize this reading. It helps to bring you a little bit of clarification, kind of helps to direct your sales, and we will talk to you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.